Hello everyone and welcome to a new kit analysis. This time it's a 2-for-1 special since we have two new characters, Tsukasa and Tsukuyo Amane. We're gonna start with Tsukasa. She is a light element debuffer. She has a really high speed, the highest in the game alongside Felicia in fact, and she is able to buff her own speed with her ability. Her skill deals damage to all enemies and will inflict 3 debuffs. An increase to damage taken, and an increase to light and dark damage taken. A 30% damage increase is really good, but unfortunately you only get half the value if you don't use a light or dark damage dealer. Her special attack reduces the enemy's defense by 30%, but more importantly it will also remove one buff. Unlike Ayame and 3-star Hazuki, she only removes one buff, but she will do so from every enemies and not only one of them. Her ability has 2 effects. If the enemies have 3 or debuffs, she will get 5 MP every turn. And if they have 5 or more, she will increase her speed by 30%. The first effect is incredibly easy to trigger since her skill alone is enough to activate it, but she will need someone else capable of inflicting a debuff in your team to activate the second effect, since even with her special attack she only inflicts 4 debuffs. But it's worth it since a permanent 30% increase in her already really high speed is really good. Her support ability is really good and is the best one for any debuffer when you don't need debuff or ailment hit rate increase. But be careful as this ability is pretty conditional, since the only debuffer who can apply 3 debuffs by herself is Ren. So if you want to equip Tsukasa to Ayame or Felicia, be sure to have another debuffer in the team to reach the 3 you need. All her ascensions are pretty good. Her A1 and A2 mostly help with her utility and skill points generation, while her A3 to 5 will increase the amount of damage increase she provides with her debuffs. Like most other debuffers, you want to equip her with either speed increase or MP recovery, but if the enemies resists debuffs, using debuff hit rate is also a good option. For team building you want to pair her with a light or dark damage dealer to make full use of her debuffs, although she's still really good even without. You also need another character to inflict the last debuff she needs to fully activate her ability. It doesn't need to be another debuffer though. Sayaka and Karika are defenders but they can inflict debuffs, so bringing one of them is enough, but since Karika need to use her special attack to debuff it might be hard to have her debuffs active all the time, and I'm bringing up Tsukuyo a bit early but she can also apply debuffs despite being a breaker. Now let's compare her to the other debuffers. As I said earlier, both her and Felicia are the fastest characters in the game, especially with their speed buffs, but Felicia need to use her skill every turn to keep her speed, which is almost never feasible since other characters need the skill points more than her. Meanwhile Tsukasa's speed buff can be active the whole fight as long as you keep the enemy debuffed. Ren doesn't provide any additional utility since her wound doesn't deal a lot of damage and is mostly here to enable her follow-up attacks, and Felicia's stun is way too unreliable in nightmare difficulty. Both her and Ayame can remove buffs and generate MP for themselves, but Tsukasa remove 1 buffs from every enemies and Ayame removes every buffs from 1 enemy. When it comes to the value of their debuffs, Felicia's are the lowest since she only debuffs defense, so even without taking advantage of the dark and light debuffs, Tsukasa will give more damage to your team. But even with them taken into account, her debuffs have less value than Ren's. The value of her debuff is a bit higher than Ayame's if you consider her elemental debuffs, but Ayame's special attack is single target, so Tsukasa is more useful for AoE fights despite the fact that Ayame's skill is AoE. Overall I don't think you need to summon for her. She is really good but we already have characters that can do what she does. Ren is a better debuffer in most scenarios, and Ayame is good enough as a buff remover. She also restricts your team building since you need to bring someone to inflict 1 more debuff, and a light or dark damage dealer to take full advantage of her kit. Now let's move on to Tsukuyo. She is a dark element breaker. Her stats are similar to other breakers, but it's worth mentioning that she is a bit slower than Pluvia Madoka, who is her main competition. Both of them can buff their own speed but Tsukuyo can do it more reliably. Her skill is an AoE attack that will also slightly increase the damage you deal with light and dark attacks. Those debuffs have a pretty low value, They're mostly here for the synergy with Tsukasa since both of them get stronger when the enemies have 5 debuffs. This will also give her a 30% speed buff, and grant her 2 magic that will be useful for her special attack. The speed is really good and requires nothing more than to use her skill to get it, so it will be active for most of the fight easily. Her special attack is also AoE and will get additional effects depending on how much magic she has. If she has 6, which should be really easy to reach, she will deal more break gauge depletion as well as advancing her own action by 20%. Getting to 12 magic should be a bit harder but will increase the break gauge depletion and action advance even more, on top of increasing the break bonus. Her skill give her 2 magic every use but she also gets some with her ability. Just like her sister, Tsukuyo's ability will get better if the enemies have 5 debuffs, but she can only apply 2 debuffs by herself, so she will only get the effect that gives her 1 magic when she attacks. If you can apply 5 debuffs, she will get 2 magic instead of 1 and will also generate more MP. Applying 5 debuffs is a bit hard normally, but by sheer coincidence, it seems that her twin is capable of applying the 3 debuffs we need with a single skill. The only other debuffer who can apply 3 debuffs is Ren, but she needs to use her skill, follow-up attack and special attack, so if you want to reach 5 debuffs faster you'll need more debuffers. Her support ability can be used on any breaker and will increase their speed by 20%. The MP generation is nice and only needs 2 debuffs, so it's not even that hard to activate, but it's just a bonus. The speed is the most important part. All of her ascensions except her A4 will increase her break gauge depletion, so they're good to have. Her A2 is conditional since you need 5 debuffs, but you want to reach that amount for her ability anyway. 8 is hard to reach though. Her A4 is the same as other 5-star breakers, and as a possessor of an A4 Pluvia Madoka, I can guarantee you that his thing is busted in AoE fights. You can get an insane amount of action advance. She has the same preference in equipment as other breakers, so either speed, MP recovery, or break gauge depletion are good. And for team building she wants the same thing as her sister, a light or dark damage dealer to make use of her debuffs and someone to apply the debuffs she needs for her ability. The only breaker that can really compare to her is Pluvia Madoka. And even though Tsukuyo is faster, has better break gauge depletion if she's in the right team, and can debuff the enemies. All of these pales in comparison to Pluvia's MP generation. It's just that good, even more so due to the fact that she gives MP to herself on top of the whole team, so she can spam her special attack every 2 turns really easily. Pluvia Madoka's mere existence makes summoning for Tsukuyo not worth it. Even if she has a niche as the only dark element breaker in the game and can act as a pseudo debuffer. The only way summoning for her to be good would be if you really want Tsukasa and you want Tsukuyo for the synergy. And it's true that they work really well together, but if you want both you might need to spend 120,000 gems if you're really unlucky and have to reach pity for the both of them. And spending this much for 2 non-limited units, who already have better alternatives available, is just not worth it. Or maybe you want to summon for them just to transform Oriko into an hydrogen bomb that will obliterate any AoE stages, and although I won't summon just for that, I would really like to see it because it sounds really fun. That's it for this video. If you liked my analysis, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more. And if you decided to summon for them, don't hesitate to leave a comment about their performances, or to correct any mistake I may have made. Goodbye and see you soon.